What's up? Welcome back to Wayman Gaming. This is going to be part 2 of our Dark Souls 3 walkthrough slash playthrough. Like I said last video, we're going to be doing a DEX build. So if you saw the last video, the last thing we had done was trying to beat the Master. At the time I couldn't beat him, and so I just decided to end the video for a second. So right now, what we did, we teleported from the bonfire at Firelink. And the only location we could teleport to is the High Wall of Lothric. Now this is, if you've played Dark Souls 1 or 2, this is one of the base things where you can just be going to any bonfire. They introduced that in Dark Souls 2 technically, but in Dark Souls 1 what you could do is, once you got to a certain place in the story, or into the game, then you were able to teleport to I'm pretty sure it's on all the bonfires, but Dark Souls 2 and Dark Souls 3, which is this game, you can do it right off the bat. So, like I said, we beat the Master. I actually need to go grab his weapon real quick. Oops, wrong way. And I don't know if it's just for me, but I get kind of laggy. My frames drop a little bit whenever I come back to Firelink for some reason. So if you guys could bear with me with that. From the last video, I have changed a bunch of the video settings for recording, so hopefully it'll be running smoother. I know last video was pretty choppy, and also the bottom of the screen kind of didn't fit. I didn't realize that until a little while after. So here we go. The Master spawned right here. He dies, so whenever you rest at the bonfire, for anybody that you've killed and they do drop something, it'll just go back to where they usually is their default position. So I got the Uchigatana, the Master's attire, and the Master's glove. So we're gonna go ahead and equip that Uchigatana. Oh, actually, we can't yet. We need 11 strength. So let's see what our stats are right now. We are at 10 strength, so we have enough souls to level up. We're going to go ahead and do that, just so we can go ahead and use it. I don't really like these twin swords, to be honest. I'm not a big fan of any of the twin weapons. I haven't really used them that much, but that's just because I haven't really enjoyed them that much. So, I know in the last video I told you about the Firekeeper. She can level you up, so we're going to go ahead and do that. And I'm actually going to go through Firelink real quick. And sorry about that train in the background if you guys can hear it. Now, I'm going to go ahead and go through Firelink. And with the current people there, I'm going to go ahead and tell you what they're about, what they will do for you, and maybe about some people who are going to come up later. So right now, I'm getting my Dex to 18, Strength to 12, Endurance to 12, and Vigor to 12. So your Vigor is going to be your HP. Now pretty much every single stat is going to help you in your defense and resistances. So I guess I'll go through the stats real quick. Vigor is just HP. Attunement is going to be attunement slots and FP. Now you're going to want that if you're going to do any type of mage build, pyromancer, miracle, soul, magic, anything like that. Endurance, you're going to want that on most classes. This is going to be your stamina, and no matter what, you're going to be using your stamina. Vitality is going to be your equipment load. We're going to probably want that later. Not as much as a strength build would be, because for the most part, that's the heavier weapons. Strength increases raw damage for anything. And so then we go to Dex, same thing, just different scalings. Intelligence, that's going to be increasing your specifically damage for magical things, and also boosts your magical defense higher than most other things. And the same thing with luck, or sorry, same thing with faith. Those are just specifically for weapons and spells that scale with fire, dark, lightning, or regular magic, soul magic, or crystal magic. Luck, this one just specifically raises item discovery. It is a pretty good stat to have. but it's just not convenient for us right now just because we won't really need it. So let's go ahead and equip that Uchi Katana. Right here, she is the maiden, the handmaiden, and what you can do is you're going to be able to buy pretty much most of the items you'll need in the game. Throughout the game, we're going to be picking up ashes, give them to her, and depending on what kind of ashes, they will change or add items to her inventory so that we can use them. We're going to walk over here to the blacksmith. He is Andre from Dark Souls 1. And the thing is about Andre in this one, you can't buy anything from him. The only things you can do with him is reinforce your weapons, so making them better. You can infuse your weapons, giving them different enchantments. So right off the bat, we can refine, raw, and fire. None of these are what we're going to want right off the bat. And once I have more of the infusions, more of the coals, I'll be able to tell you more. But just going right off of these, the refined gem, that's going to increase. I think it puts both your scalings to D, if I'm not mistaken. So it'll decrease base damage, but then it'll increase scaling. So that's pretty much the part of refined. Raw, no scaling anymore, just base damage. And then fire gives you flat fire damage and lowers base physical. So the difference between fire and chaos is going to be fire gives you flat damage, chaos gives you scaling, and that scales equally off of intelligence and faith. So that's that for the infusions as of now. I can't do either. The only time I'm going to infuse my weapon is I might either do I don't know if I'm going to do refined or if I'm going to do sharp. I know sharp is good, but I'm going to have to see later depending on just depending on the scalings at the time. So he can also change Estus flask uses. I'm going to keep one in Ashen just because I will be using the sword art for this one, the skills rather. And from here you can also reinforce your Estus flask. So if you find any kind of shards, go up to him, reinforce it, and that'll increase how many uses you have for each of your flasks. So there's really not anyone of importance right now. There's going to be, he's one of the Lords of Cinder up there. The only thing to do with him is transposing your weapons, boss souls into either weapons, rings, or spells. Some of them are really good, some of them not so much. And this guy right here, he isn't really involved too much. The only time you're going to really interact with him is just talk to him here at the bonfire, or later in the game there is sort of his quest line, and the only thing with that is once you get the twinkling or the regular dragon stones, once you go to Archdragon Peak, you get the twinkling dragon stones, or I think you only get the body, the twinkling dragonstone body. And then once you're gonna fight him over in one of the boss areas, and I'll reveal that to you guys later. And he will have the other twinkling dragonstone part, which is going to be the head. If you die against him, he takes whatever twinkling part you have, but if you fight him again, you can just get it all back. So here we are at the High Wall of Lothric. So right off the bat, there's two places to go, left and right. It's pointless. It's pretty pointless to go right initially. So we're going to go left. The only reason to go right, we're going to open up a shortcut in a little bit, and that's going to be that side. So we're going to go ahead and move on through. Not really worried about that right now. So I'm going to show you guys where some items are. Right up here is going to be the binoculars. Now, in Dark Souls 2, I'm pretty sure, I mean, you're going to use it in the same way. The only thing is that instead of using it as a left or a right-handed weapon, it's going to be an item. So you're going to be able to scroll through it just like any other item and use it there, which is, I think, a lot more convenient just because you don't have to take up a weapon slot for it. Although, for the most part, it's not really a big deal. I don't think it weighed that much in the first place, but I guess it does make it more convenient. So I'm going to go ahead and pick those up. Now we're going to head down around here under the dead dragon and pick up the gold pine resin. Now gold pine resin, that's going to be your go-to weapon buff for really any kind of boss. For the most part, bosses will not have lightning defense. One of the only bosses I know of that I can remember off the top of my head that has lightning defense is going to be the Nameless King slash the King of Storms and the old Dragon Slayer. Those guys do have high lightning defense, and I would not recommend using any kind of gold pine resin on them. Just because for obvious reasons you're not going to be doing that much damage to them if you're going to do that. So for the most part, you're going to be using that one. You can also use, I like to use the dark and the fire. The dark one I think is called human pine resin. And then fire one I think that's going to be fire. So with these guys right here, there are a lot of them and they can gang up on you really quick. Now what you want to do, you want to run up here. And then the dragon's going to go ahead and breathe fire. Take out most of the people up there. And now if you just come down here for a second, the dragon's like, oh hey, he's trying to go the other way. So he'll breathe fire down here. Take out all those guys up into a certain point. So that part is pretty easy now. You can run through this top part and try to get the items, but honestly, for the most part, they aren't worth it. So I'm going to just run through this since he just had breathe fire. Don't worry about that right now. Now up here there are a couple of these guys. You can tell by their weapon, they're usually lit up. And there's a Lothric Knight right here, but we're going to go ahead and take these guys out real quick, just so we can eliminate a 3v1 and improve our chances. So we can get the backstab off. Yep. So these guys, for the most part, I strongly dislike having to deal with them in any kind of way. So if you can dispatch them from afar, that would be what I would recommend. Or just taking advantage of any kind of backstabs or anything like that. So, kill this guy too real quick. So we just picked up the Lothric Knight Shield. I'm not sure I'll be able to wield it. No, because I need 18 strength. And honestly, we're going to get there, but not anytime soon, I don't think. Because really the maximum, at least as far as I've seen, for strength that we want to get to is about 20, maybe 22, depending on what kind of weapons you're going to be using. But honestly, just by doing a dex build, it doesn't mean you have to follow exactly what I'm doing. And I was honestly recommend not following exactly what I'm doing, just because there's so much customization in this game, and it should just be whatever you want to do. You can follow roughly what I'm doing, and just as more of a template, just so you can get a good idea of how it should look. But for the most part, we're going to be using katanas in this build. I haven't really done a dex build in this game before. So far, in the several runs I've done, I have done a strength build, and then I did I've done fire, I've done lightning, and then I've also done another strength build. Because I had gotten my stats up high enough to where I was able to use one of the weapons that we'll find way later. And it just does ridiculous damage. I think the base was like 300 and something, and then the scaling was around 220, 230. So this part, I'm going to go ahead and caution you guys on this part. I don't know if you can see him, but that one shirtless one right above my guy's head, he transforms into kind of the creature that DEX Gundyr was. So right off the bat, we can try to eliminate him, take him out, because he is a real big pain to try to eliminate if he does get into that form. Now, the way to combat any of those kind of guys is with is going to be with fire. So either fire bombs. I think black fire bombs work just as well. I'm not exactly sure. Any fire enchanted weapons, anything like that, those are going to work really well against that guy. Now, if you guys are really wanting to just take my advice on this one and on this playthrough, just see what kind of tips I can give you. Oh crap! I think I'm dead. And then kind of do whatever you want. If you're going for something that's strong and fun to do, I would go with a pyromancy build. I think that was my favorite one. The only really hurdles I came into were some of the bosses about midway through the game where they are a fire themed boss, and at that point it is a bit difficult to kill them. But the thing with pyromancy is that you not only have fire spells, even though it is pyromancy, there are dark fire spells, and it's just dark damage. So I end up using the dark fire orb, or the dark orb, something like that. I think it was dark fire, or black fire orb. And that was super good against any of those fire themed bosses. So it didn't make it too difficult, but it was definitely still doable. Any of these bosses are gonna be doable. So let's go ahead and take that out. Yeah, the pyromancy boss is not the boss. Sorry, the pyromancy build is definitely probably my favorite so far. I'm actually still completing a faith build right now. So I'm using lightning spells and then using lightning infused weapons, which it's fun. It is a bit difficult. The only bad thing about it, I would say, if I can say anything bad about it, is the spells that I'm currently using. I'm sure there are better spells, but the ones I like to use is Great Lightning Spear and Sunlight Spear. I'm also using Sacred Oath, and the last one was, I think, is a weapon buff. Oh no, it's I can't remember the name of it. It's one of the gnawing spells. It's the greater one. You get it at the Irithyll Valley, and that one's really good. It causes bleeding, which is good against a lot of enemies, just because it's not really something that they have a lot of resistance to for the most part. So that, and the only thing with those is that they cost a lot of FP to use, unfortunately. And that, like I said, it could just be the spells that I was using specifically, but either way, it's still very costly to do that. So if we're rolling through here, there should be an item, at least one over here. Yeah. So let's go and pick that up. Green blossoms, those increase stamina recovery, which is never a bad thing. Never ever a bad thing. And some items we're going to be using for stamina recovery are going to be those. We're going to be using the Grass Crest Shield from Dark Souls 1, and then also the Chloranthy Ring from Dark Souls 2. So right there we just picked up the broadsword. I used that in my strength build right off the bat. It was really good. I like the sword art, or the skill rather, and it's a good starting. I guess it's technically not a starting weapon, but it's a good introduction weapon for a strength build. So we're gonna go take these guys out. And now that I think about it, I did actually miss a chest, but that one was gonna be where the dragon was. Again, I don't think it's really worth using. So I just picked up the Silver Eagle Kite Shield, which does have 100% physical reduction. So, for the most part, we're going to be two-handing the Uchi-Katana, but I'm going to go ahead and pick this up just in case. It's never a bad idea to have a weapon that, or sorry, a shield that gives you physical reduction. So this part's a little bit tricky. There are 3 of these large enemies. Now, they're not hard to kill, but they do kill you very quickly. So I would recommend just either dodging the first ability, backstabbing, or just completely non-stop attacking them. They do stagger easily, their poison is very high, so that is definitely an option. Yeah, like I said, they do a lot of damage. You want to just lure them out one at a time, and just try to make sure you don't get overwhelmed, because it does happen very easily in this game. There are quite a number of times where the game is going to overwhelm you with a lot of enemies. That's bad. But that's right. For the most part, you'll learn to lure people out and just make sure that you don't get too many people hitting you at once. So I just picked up a cell key. Now earlier, right underneath the second bonfire, if you just keep going downstairs, there's going to be a cell, and in that cell is going to be Gray Rat, who is part of one of the quest lines. Now, he's not super important. He doesn't give you the best items, but he is one of the questline NPCs, and the items aren't bad. I know he gives discounts on some of the items as well that the other I know the Handmaiden doesn't give, and other people who also you can buy from don't give. So this is one of the winged knights. This one has tiny wings. There are going to be giant gold ones. Actually, I think they're the same size as this guy, if not mistaken. But they have like actual huge wings. And the thing with these guys is I think they pledged themselves to the angels, something like that. I think that's their background. But I honestly hate fighting those guys. I actually didn't know until like my second or third playthrough of the game that I could backstab them, because he's really the only one you fight. He's not necessarily mandatory, but he's definitely one that's right in your way, because the golden wing knights, they're definitely out of the way, but they're where some, I think one of the scrolls and one of the faith spells are at. And the faith spell, or it's a miracle rather, is one of the spells that they use. Sorry for the dropping frames, or the frame rate drop. There's always like random parts where the frame rate drops really low for some reason. I don't know why. I know I've seen a lot of people have been complaining about it on forums and even on Steam reviews and stuff like that. And it is frustrating, just because sometimes it'll happen. And mostly where it happens is Lothric Castle, which is just about near the end of the game. That's where it happens a lot, and really anywhere there's kind of like a kingdom, it seems that it'll do that. So where we're heading right now, we're going to go ahead and go to the shortcut. So remember how earlier I said, like, if we're going to go left, that's where the shortcut is, but we're going to go right for now. Right now we're heading to the part where we would have gone to the left. No, sorry, to the right. So I'm going to pick this up. This should be another green blossom. Yep, so 3 more. This is always good. we're gonna head up, unlock the cell door, probably rest, just because we only have 2 flask uses and we have like no health. So I'm actually gonna drink this to rest. Go out this door. That should be a big guy. Yeah, there he is. And then one guy on the ground. Getting up right now. So I don't really care about him. I'm just gonna go around and smack this guy. Oh, crap. So I'm gonna try not to die. Yeah, that's a good idea. And this is Dark Souls, and it doesn't really matter what kind of tactics you use, as long as you live and kill off anything else. Any tactic that does that efficiently is the best tactic. So don't be afraid to try to cheese any and every body, because they will cheese you no matter what. So I'm gonna go ahead and hide from the archer while taking out these dogs. Now for the people, if you're wondering like why aren't some of those guys attacking you, that's because the only time that they attack you, where is this gonna go? Is he below me now? Oh yeah. The only time any of those guys attack you is when one of the lantern people, once they not scream but alert the others with whatever methods he uses to do that. So now we're back at the first bonfire we came out through up there. So now we're gonna go right, because this is the shortcut. The easiest way to do this: drop down here, come to this corner. Big guy will run up the stairs. There he goes. And then this guy won't aggro you. He's up there. And I think he's just gonna stay up there. Maybe not. Either way, just roll down here. Actually, I forgot this item. Throwing knives. And then head down. So, just to avoid conflict, that's the best way I've been able to go about it. So we can just roll through. You don't need to kill anyone on the way there. You definitely can, but it's definitely not necessary. I might just turn around and kill this guy. He's gonna chase me. Did the other guys come up? Yeah, they did, but I don't really care too much. So up here, we're gonna face a couple Lothric Knights. Again, my least favorite enemies to fight, just because they are probably one of the most intelligent enemies. They do have different tactics depending on how you're approaching them. So if you're approaching their shield side, they will hit you with their shield. And if you're approaching their weapon side, they're going to do kind of a swiping attack. At least that's what the sword one does. So we're just going to approach this guy. See, yeah, something like that. So that's pretty much their moveset right there. And then they do have a flurry of regular attacks. Oh crap. Okay. I was making sure I didn't aggro both of them at the same time. Did I aggro this guy? Please don't tell me I did. So again, sorry for the frame rate drop. It's super annoying and I don't know why it does it. So, coming. Oh crap, I didn't mean to do that. That was really bad because I didn't do as much damage as I could have done. Thank you, shield. Okay, so I didn't aggro him. Good. And then there's going to be one more Lothric, or okay, so there's 3 red ones and 1 blue one. The blue one is a lot harder to fight than any of the others, and you don't really get anything good from killing him either, so. This is annoying. Yeah, this is why I really hate these guys. And they're so quick, too. Oh crap. Holy moly. And just so you guys know, you're almost never gonna Jesus Christ. Yeah, I am doing so bad against this guy. Alright, I'm gonna back off. Yeah, I'm gonna head back to the bonfire. Yeah. The only thing to kill the only reason to kill those guys at all is to farm their either you can get their weapons, you can get their armor, and if I'm not mistaken, they drop Titanite shards. Maybe, maybe not. But again, that'd be the only reason to fight them. Now, what I do need to do is I do need to grab. Might be dead. Yep. Cool. What a trap. So, actually, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go ahead and end the video. Next time, we're going to be defeating our technically second boss, but really the first major boss. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hit a like if you did. Got any questions, comments, suggestions, leave them down in the comments below. Hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys later.